Ravi?
Yeah, man. Everything.
Good. Press secretary to the president.
Prince Ram.
Okay.
Pleased to meet you.
It's a pleasure.
Atirabati.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Right. How's it?
So far. That's great, man. Elite. Separate. Right.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Introduce the President of the Republic of Liberia, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Madam, this is the Holy Council of the African Hebrew Israel of Jerusalem, headed by Prince Gabriel Alidor. This delegation has come to thank you all, the Liberian people, through you, for the kind courtesy gesture that was rendered in 1965, between 65 67, when they came there. They say President Tubman was gracious to them, and so they have come to pay respect to you. So peace to him.
Welcome to you.
Thank you so very much. We would first like to give all honor and praises to you, Al and Benjamin on the shelf, and the council and the princess. And thank you so very much for this great opportunity to come to express our appreciation to Liberia, the great Republic of Liberia. I said great because our spiritual leader once told us, he said that Liberia would be the star of Africa. He said Liberia is destined to be the star of Africa. And so we've always believed that. And so after 50 years of successes at Jerusalem, we wanted to take this opportunity to come back and thank the people of Liberia. We went up to the village in Gaye to express our thanks and appreciation to the paramount chiefs and all the village people there in Gaye. We had a great celebration there. And so we never dreamt that we would have this opportunity. But we thank the Creator of heaven and earth. First, for keeping you healthy and sound and safe. And so, this morning, when we got the call, we were overjoyed just to think that we would meet the great head of state of this great country. So again, we thank you and appreciate you. You know, we never crossed before, but I know some of possibly Sister Dr. Bennett out of Ghana. I think maybe you might have known her. And also I met one of your council generals in Israel. We hosted him there 20 years during the Civil War. And we were so appreciative of him because it was very difficult times at that time. So we supported him for 20 years. And now he's the Consul General. I think he's down in Guinea. Nizikori. Nizikori. Yeah, his name is Diane Morris.
Yes.
And we supported him for 20 years, and I adopted him as my son. And so we wanted to thank you for him as well, because he's been so supportive of us. And so I just wanted to take this opportunity to come. We didn't want to take all of your time or anything like that. We just appreciate the fact that you've allowed us to come here this afternoon to say thanks. Would my friends would like to say something?
You just introduce yourselves.
Madam President, shalom, shalom. Peace be unto
Peace.
you.
Mhm.
I too would like to thank the Creator Yah for this great opportunity to be in your presence. I feel your spirit, your powerful spirit. And I hear great things about you. I'm Prince Ram, the Prince of Divine Order with the Holy Council at Jerusalem. I'm called the Southern Prince. I have been in Atlanta, Georgia, being over the southern region since 1984. And there we operate businesses, schools, business, restaurants, and serve the people. And I too would like to thank you for your great leadership in bringing peace to our people, our beloved people here in Liberia. I've read the news, and you can be proud of what you have done. And I just wanted to thank you. Prince Gabriel didn't mention he's one of the original, as well as his wife, Atara Takia. They were with the original group in 1967 that settled in Gaye with the saints that had tents. I read all the stories. He's an author of a book entitled Impregnable People. I think he didn't want to take up a lot of time, but he didn't tell you much about him being one of the original brothers that left Chicago. At that time, I personally was not with the Saints. I was a detective in Chicago, Illinois. And I really didn't know anything about the brothers and sisters leaving America. But later on, in 1970, 3 years later, I came into the knowledge. And I would like to just share with you, when I was 7 years old in Lincoln Heights, Ohio, my uncle Stephen Morrow was a Mason. And he was teaching other Masons on the Shabbat, on a Saturday. And they were talking about the Bible. And I happened to walk through the front room, and I heard my uncle say that one day a little black nation would rise in the East, and from there begin to rule the world in righteousness. And I never forgot this. And I searched and searched. And then I learned he was a Mason, very intelligent man, and East was symbolic of Jerusalem. And that's where we're from. So thank you very much. I didn't want to take a lot of time, but I did want to express that to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madam President.
Thank you.
Madam President, my name is Atara Batia, and words cannot express the gratitude that I have for this moment. I reside in Atlanta, currently on mission, and I had the opportunity to meet the Honorable Cynthia Blandford, and I've heard so many good things about you, the legacy, and I really just want to let you know that I appreciate this moment in time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Your Excellency, my name is Atara Takia, and as he said, I'm one of the original pioneers that arrived here in 1967. Again, I have envisioned, but I never, ever, ever dreamed I would have the opportunity to meet the great and united Ellen Johnson Sr. I think it's a great honor, a privilege, and such a pleasure. And again, I want to thank the country of Liberia, people of Liberia, for allowing us this opportunity just to come here and express our words of love and thanks.
Thank you. Go back a little bit. 50 years ago, the Liberian people helped us. We were very young pioneers. And so, leaving America for the very first time, we couldn't imagine what it would be like to live in the bush of Liberia. So we moved into the bush 111 miles from Monrovia, into the bush, cut us out of a little bit of land there, and erected some tents. Now we were kind of crude. I mean, we were novices. We put the tents on the ground, and the villagers came and explained to us, because every time the rains would come, it would knock our tents down. The villagers had to teach us how to erect our tents on rafters, and then to put thatch roofing over our heads. And so that began our journey. Remember now, we really never spent a long time, a night or two out in the Forest Reserve in the United States. Here we were, we picked up root, we sold all of our merchandise, our houses, we sold our houses, mostly all of us had houses, sold our houses, our cars, we left our families, and they thought that we had lost our minds. They really thought we had lost our minds. But our condition as a black people in America was in despair. We were living in the ghettos. We could never understand, why is all this stuff happening to us? Why do we seem to be the tail of all people? And so our spiritual leader began to put it together, and we talked to spiritual men, and they explained to them, the reason for your condition is that you forgot the creator of heaven and earth. And you broke his commandments, his instructions on how you're supposed to live in this world. And so thus, you were banished from the land, the Holy Land, and went into this captivity, this bondage in America. So we were in bondage. We woke up in a bondage. We didn't even realize why we were there. And so, and my spiritual leader, he said, well, if that's what caused the problem, let's change it. Let's keep the commandments. Let's keep the Shabbat. Let's keep the Sabbaths. Let's do the right thing. And so we began to do the right thing in America. And it turned things around for us. And then we say, well, if we're Israelites, if we're Hebrews, why aren't we living in Israel? Okay? So now, we say now, but you got to go back. We searched the scriptures. We found out that if you're going to return, you got to return by the way that you came. Okay, we came by West Africa, picked up as slaves into bondage. So we got to go back and recapture a spirit. And so that's what led us in. Your country was the only country that accepted us. About 350 of us. Remember, Liberia was established so that we could be able to come as free men to Liberia. We couldn't go to any other country. They would accept us like that. But you accepted us. And we bought 500 acres of land. And we moved into the bush. Like I said, I was a young man, 30 years of age, my wife and 3 children. And so we moved into this bush, and lo and behold, the first 6 months was unbelievable. We didn't know how to live, we didn't know how to eat, we didn't know how to cook. We bought tubs. We bought tubs and made fires and cooked rice in the tub. Yes. We didn't know we put onions and flour gravy on top of the rice. And so we ate that, and even the people in the villages said, Man, these people crazy. They eat this funky food. But we didn't know nothing else to eat. Because afterwards, our money began to dwindle. We were eating sardines and cookies and crackers and pops and candy. But no, that impacted negatively upon our health. Our babies begin to get, their stomachs begin to protrude. They begin to suffer from malnutrition. We suffer from malaria, hepatitis, running sores, every kind of thing you can think. And so before the first year, 2/3 of our people had disappeared and went back to America. But the hardcore group that refused to return didn't matter. We were out there in that bush. Our children's shoes began to fall off their feet. Our clothes began to dry rot. But we refused to return to the United States. And so your president at that time, the Honorable, His Excellency, President S.V. Tubman, stood up and helped us. He gave us at that time, in 1967, he allotted us $43,000. Now that's a lot of money. And he gave it to us in allotments of 3 months. And with that, we began to nourish ourselves back into some strength. And then we began to get help. Our spiritual leader went to Firestone. Firestone donated us roofings for our tents. They donated us a couple of vehicles and also a truck. We got a 12 kilowatt generator we established there. And so within a year's time, we had turned that village, of which we known as the camp, into a paradise. A paradise. Did we love that place? Did we love that place? Because it was so quiet. We had a couple of restaurants here, and one in the Bunga, and 2 restaurants here, ice cream shops. Everybody knows us. The Shalom Shalom people. We call our restaurant Misa Datola, meaning a good restaurant. And so I had 2 children born in Liberia. We didn't know anything about midwifery at the time. But we learned, our sisters learned midwifery. And we began to deliver our own children. And then we went from there, after they were born, we took them to Phoebe Hospital. And the mother would remain there until she's healthy, and then we returned back into the bush. So we stayed there for 2.5 years. About 2.5 years, the outer perimeters of town. Because our objective was to move into what is known as the wilderness prophetically for a period of time, to cleanse ourselves up from all the evils that were in us, the negatudes and all of the things that were negatively affected our minds, and to clean ourselves up and to purify ourselves, and then to move on into the Holy Land. Now that's another trip. To move on to the Holy Land. And so after the first year and a half, my wife, the spiritual leader, came and said, we got to move on. He sent my wife and I to Jerusalem in 1969. They had been asking for permission to return as Hebrews, as a member of the Hebrews, to Jerusalem. And we never fully got the support from the Israeli government. So finally said, we must go. And so sent us ahead. He had sent one of our other brothers ahead earlier, and they left him at one of the kibbutz. And there he became one of the work foremen. And then he told his people that he wanted some of us to come along. They said, fine, if they like you, they can come. So they invited us to Israel. But they didn't know we were bringing children. And so when we got to Israel, and we had children, and we went to the kibbutz. They said, oh no, you can't come with children. They thought we were coming as volunteer workers. And so, after, they gave us 4 days to live on the kibbutz. And from there we went to what they call the Jewish Agency. And there we met Mrs. Moshe Dayan's wife, Mrs. Ruth Dayan, the great general of Israel. And she accepted us into the country. We moved in the southern part of Israel in 1969, she and I. And that started the great movement of our people back into the Holy Land. Today, we're known as a phenomena in the midst of phenomena by the foreign ministry. We're known as an island of sanity. And the State Department calls us a miracle in the desert. We survived, and no one could ever realize how we survived. And today, people come from all over the world to see us, to say, how did you do it? And we all give praises unto the great God of Israel, the God of Africa. And so, consequently, we realized and found out the way back, the key to success in our lives. And we wanted to share that with our people. That we watched how the Jewish people became successful. And everything seemed like that they were touched, especially finances. Was that they taught their children from the book of Genesis to Deuteronomy, which is the law, or the instructions of God. Everything else is history and prophecy. But the first 5 books in the Bible speaks about instructions of what you should do and what you should not do. And so we then begin to understand this has power within it. And so we began following those instructions, and then that power, it caused us that we had confrontations after confrontation after confrontation, because it really would never fully accept us. But because the God of Africa, the God of Israel, we call Yahweh, blessed us to come back into that land. And no one has ever been able to put us out of that land again. Today, we're one of the most thriving black communities in all of Israel. Our children are on par, educational-wise, academically, with all the other children. But now we come from the ghetto. We came all the way from the bush. So early on it was kind of difficult. But today we're leading all the southern Negev, academically. We take all the meets in track. We have one of the best, some of the best musicians in the land. And if I can't even begin to tell you all the things that we're doing and have done and accomplished in Israel. Scholars. I mean, so much.
Oh, what a story.
I have my book that I've written, and I'm sorry I didn't bring it, but I have another copy. I'm going to have it brought back to Mr. Townsend so they can be forwarded to you. And also, we edited a Bible called the African Heritage Bible. And it would have been here with me. I wanted to bring one to you, but the gentleman that was bringing it in missed his flight. He'll be in tonight. So we'll bring that along with us. We really want you to have that Bible and a copy of my book.
How long? What's the event here?
Came to say thank you.
I've come to say thank you.
Well, they had a
To me, or a public event, or what? There's no public event.
No, they had a 50-year anniversary that they celebrated when you talk about the 67 up to 1970. So that event we were celebrating, and it goes up to the 12th.
Right, until the 12th. We're leaving on the 12th. We came to celebrate.
Yes.
Where is this place in Liberia where you all reside?
The village in Gaye, in Batala, in Bunga,
Okay, now Batala, okay.
in the Bunga area.
Okay.
And we hosted this morning. All the chiefs came to our
You
company.
went up there?
Oh, we went up there. We had a great big. You have a couple of excuse me. Do you have any of that a clip that you can see?
Yes.
Would you like to just see what we done yesterday? Of it, so we're thankful and we're grateful.
I'm just telling you, well, this is our Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Oh, my pleasure to meet you.
Because he knows Return to LBR, the press secretary.
Yeah.
I was just mentioning to her that we have someone that is now coming to try to redo our museum and to open it sometime late this month. This is part of our history that many of us don't know.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
And I wonder if they can get for you to meet with the U.S. lady. She's coming from America to help do this for us.
Yes.
If they can arrange for you to meet to tell her about this part of the history,
Yes,
she
I
may
will.
be able to
I will.
capture something in,
Yeah.
you know, in the work she's doing.
Okay. And one other thing, we had began building a temple, and to our surprise, the walls are still standing. And so they cleaned it up very well for us, and that's where we sat and congregated.
The temple is there now.
It's just the walls.
No, I know, but
Yeah,
really,
it's still standing,
50 years later.
strong,
50
and,
years.
and inside of it, we sat, they brought benches from the Protestant church, they brought all those, and all of us sit around the chiefs, all of the chiefs, and we sang songs, and it was a great homecoming. It was unbelievable. A great homecoming.
Got that video, right?
50 years.
All right.
But this, like I said, is part of the history that many of, you know, many people don't know. We should find a way to.
Since he got the recording,
Yeah,
you can get it from him.
Put
to
it
do
on
some
one of the
things
shows?
No, it'll be placed. It's one of the things that will be placed in the museum. The history of what is left of the place is recorded.
Yes.
He has it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we hope that this will impact upon the tourism in our country.
Yes.
We
That's
want
key.
this to impact upon the tourism. We want to do as much as we can to help them to establish, with all of our efforts, for them to establish a high school. They don't have a high school back there. So we want to work on that with them. And we want to help them
Yes.
as best we can. And we think and pray the out that He will help us to help them. So,
That's a good you mentioned Ezekiel, the 20th chapter, speaks of the wilderness of Liberia and us coming here.
yeah. What happened was our spiritual leader, he opened up the Bible to the 20th chapter of Ezekiel, the 37th verse, and it spoke about how Yahweh would bring us into the wilderness of the people. And He would bring us there and He would plead with us face to face. And so consequently, we believe that that's exactly what happened with us. We were out there, and all of those who turned against us or turn away from us, we brought out of the wilderness and then allowed Him to enter into the Holy Land. For all of us that remained, was able to, our spiritual leader was able to take us all into the Holy Land. And we would like to offer an opportunity for any girl, if you ever have the opportunity, come to Israel and let us host you
Yes. Village of Peace.
in the Village of Peace. It's will be such a great privilege.
Are you part of the Ethiopia group?
No,
With Elisha?
we're not. The Ethiopian Jews came after us. They were there in 1969. There was only a handful there. But our spiritual leader is another story. Our spiritual leader sent us to Ethiopia in 1971 by boat. We went down, we sailed down the Red Sea 5 nights.
From
5 days,
Jerusalem?
from Elat, the southern part of Israel. He put us on a fishing boat. And we sailed down there 4 nights, 5 days to Massawa, the port of Massawa, which is at that time
Eritrea.
was Ethiopia, today is Eritrea. And from there he sent us to deliver a letter to the palace, to Haile Selassie, Emperor Haile Selassie. Naturally they saw little guys like us. But they took our letter. We don't know if we ever received it or not. And then we continued on to Gondar to meet the Falashim, Ethiopia. Our spiritual leader said to tell them it's time to return to Jerusalem to help to establish the long-awaited kingdom of God on earth. And so we accomplished our mission. We went to the villages and spoke with the people. And we even invited one of the leaders to Israel. And we paid his way there. And he came to as far as Beersheba. And when we got to Beersheba, we never heard of him again. We never made it to Dimona. At that time, in Israel, I don't think we were liked very well, because, you know, being black and unaccepted at that time. So at the time that we first went into Israel, after the first inception, when our people begin coming directly from the United States, the Israeli government said, well, when we asked the question one day from one of the young men, how many Hebrews are you all? They said about 5 million, and they'll all come to Israel. They went on the headlines, and so they stopped our entrance into Israel. But that was history. That's history. Because today, you go to the foreign ministry of Israel and online, and you see that they say, who are the black Hebrews? Who are the Hebrews? They say they are phenomenal in the midst of phenomena. Because we weren't supposed to make it. But the God of heaven and earth, the God of Israel, Yahweh, blessed us. And to this day, blessed us. And for that reason, we've become a tourist attraction. People come from all over the world to our village of peace. Every year we have a celebration. And that celebration is called New World Passover, signifying our return to Israel from our captivity. And so, and people now come from everywhere. In fact, we have missions all over the world. We got them in South Africa, the British Isles. We got them all down in the islands, the Caribbean, all throughout the United States. So.
All right. Well, let me again welcome you.
Thank you very
and
much.
say how pleased we are that you decided to do it. I think it's gracious on your part to have come back to say thank you to Liberia for having hosted you for some time. I really want to work with Honorable Richard to find the curator who's doing our museum, because this is part of our history that must also come alive, and, and people ought to know this.
Yes.
And so I know that the press secretary will arrange with you how he can get some of these to get it, into the knowledge of our people. There would be great appreciation from the Tubman family who are here. You've spoken how kind President Tubman was to you. And so we will arrange through Reverend Townsend how this lady, they can probably just take you to the museum that she's working on, and then you can just talk to her and she'll decide how she fit this little bit of history into our overall history that she's working on.
Our pleasure to do so. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sure. so very much again.
Very well,
Your
so
Excellency. Thank you.
once again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming.
So much.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Who was the first person you gave a visit to?
No,
He gave a visit
not
to
the first one. What we're talking about. When the group came to Liberia,
Okay.
the Liberian Consul General in Chicago, William H. Jones,
Wow.
he gave that visa.
Wow. To
Gave
who?
them the visa for the group to
For
come
the
to
Hebrew
Liberia.
Israelite to come to
To
Liberia.
come to Liberia.
That was 50 years ago?
Yeah,
Yeah.
William H. Jones,
William H. Jones.
our Consul General in Chicago, Illinois.
Okay.
Wow.
And at that time you were?
I was in Washington, D.C.
He was the
Third Secretary at that time.
third secretary in Washington, D.C.
So what's his
So he was a
position here?
diplomat in Washington, D.C. at the time when the event took place.
What's his position here?
Oh, now I am advisor to the President on Foreign Affairs.
Wow.
I have served as Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
So what do you think about the Hebrew Israelite community from Israel? What do you think about the community at large?
What I think about them?
Yeah.
Well, the first thing is that the group came here, made everybody happy to receive their brothers and sisters in this country, and well received by our President William Tubman.
Wow.
You see? And now that you have returned to come to Liberia to say, well, look, thank you for what happened from 1963 or something like
67.
67.
that. 67, when they gave that visa to come here. And now you come back and say, look, my people in Liberia, look, we haven't forgotten you although when we went to Israel, but our hearts are still here with you. Our prayers for you being given. So God have received the prayers, and today you're here. We are pleased to see you, and we ask God to continue to shower His blessing upon you all.
43,000 to the Hebrew. Wow. This is the President William V. S. Tubman who gave the $43,000 to the Hebrew Israelite community to live in Liberia.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is advisor to the president. That's him. George W. Wallace, advisor to the president, and Her Excellency President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf.
Wow.
This is him here again with President Bush. Yeah, President Bush in United States.
In the Oval Office.
In the Oval Office, yeah. Here he is with, I think, Chinese ambassador. He's done with Jacques Chirac, the president of France. So you should know you're in a veteran office. Yeah. First class veteran. Oh, my man, you really want me a video review. You must send it back here. You must send a copy. Thank you very much, ambassador.
This is the first Liberian money our people used to trade with. They use this for an exchange of goods. But the old man told me this money is not complete unless it is 7.
Wow.
7 of this. Yeah, it have to be 7. He didn't go the extra mile to explain to me the meaning, but the old man himself is coming. He will tell you the true detail about it.
What's the name of the money? What is it called?
In my traditional dialect, it's called Kaningi.
Carnegie.
Kaningi.
What type of plant is it? It looks like it's a plant.
It's not a plant, it's an iron. Feel it. It's metal.
Wow. Okay. They still use it today?
No, they don't use it today.
They need to use it today. They need to use it. They
But
use all the other money.
it always had a prophetic,
That's the money they use.
yeah, it was the money.
That's the best money that we can get.
You can't steal it because it's stupid. If you try to steal this, you need dump truck, and you will be caught. The old man was come, but you won't be around when the old man comes because he could explain it better. He said it's incomplete. this money had to be 7.
Has to be 7 of these.
7 of these. So you see the same prophetic number.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dofla kono. Dofla be flag. Flag baga dofla. Na nuwa vuliya la. Ebe tuliwa.
Oh, listen now. He said, "Ni dosawa."
Face that way.
Okay. This is a very important historical part. With the old man came.
Do you remember us 50 years ago?
Yes.
So remember Nasi Gavrogado?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. He says, Singular 100.
100.
The old man says,
So white.
this money had to be 7 pieces of these.
Okay.
7 pieces of these with 100 cola nuts. 100 cola nuts. It was what they used to buy their bride.
Wow.
Yeah. 100 cola nuts and 7 of
country mat.
and a country mat.
The person said
You sit in the mat, and then they have 7 of these and 100 cola nuts. White cola, but this white cola had to be in a special kind of leaf from in a bush. Okay. The man and his wife, both of them have to eat the cola nuts. They have to share the cola nuts. And when you eat the cola nuts, then you have to bring it back out.
Take it off.
Oh, they say take it out. Oh, now, let me explain that better. He said they gave you the cola nut. You bite it, chew some, and eat it, and give it to your Lord. You swallow it. He bite it, eat some, and swallow it. Then they ask you the question to bring it back. What that which you have swallowed. They say bring it back, bring it out.
Throw it up.
Throw it out.
Yeah.
Then you tell them, I am not able to bring it back. Then they tell you, we told you and this man to be husband and wife. Oh, so when they ask you, the both of you and your husband, then your answer is no. You were not the one that told us to come together. He says, since nobody told you you ate the cola and you can't bring it back, you should never fall apart.
Hallelujah. Wisdom.
Holy.
This is 2 cents. So you see the sizes. The smaller one is 1 cent. The longer one
It's 2 cents.
2 cents. And the even longer one, 2 cents. No, he said it stayed 2 cents. The 3 cents he didn't bring it. It's longer. So the longer the more money. But
whereby our father then put this thing together to make it with color.
Then they use it.
No iron ore.
Yeah, they didn't have. So this actually
Me? What you know?
Oh, he said rock. This is rock that they put together.
Wow.
Rock they put together. Because they didn't know about iron those days. So they looked for rock that was very hard and they did it like this.
Wow.
When they used to use in Guinea for money. So all around Africa.
This, I'm still keeping it.
Let me have it. Let me have your money.
I'm still keeping this one. In Guinea, yes.
Before the paper came in.
Oh, yes.
What is it?
Money. Okay. Yes.
This is the first traditional money printed on this new conventional paper money.
Yeah.
Wow.
The symbol.
That's the symbol.
Yeah.
The symbol to show that we were civilized before they.
Stay still, though. Stay still. You just moving everywhere. All right, I got it.
Now, do the front. President Totman, you've been looking for.
Oh, he's
Oh,
on.
that's the
Yes,
president.
this is President.
Totman.
Yeah, this is President Totman. We never forgot him.
Hold it still. Hold it still. Got it. Okay.
Gabrielle, where's that bag? The sister's calling for her bag. She needs it.
Man,
It was in the car.
yeah. Let me. I said, for me, they come by and tell their wife, I came from work. What kind of man is this? You went and sat out all day, rain or muff. You didn't do anything, but you are proud to tell your wife you're coming from work. How you carry yourself like that?
He didn't dirty his hands.
Yeah. You didn't dirty his hands.
Dirty your hands.
Dirty your hands.
Absolutely.
What have told me?
Absolutely. You got to
Come
see.
here.
I'm a farmer. I fought hard to get 50 acres of farmland, and I worked just as hard as my workers. Because I know when I plant a tree, I got avocado trees big as this tree. I saw them grow. It makes me happy.
I personally, I'm Ezra Ben Shalia, Liberian saint. I also traveled to Jerusalem. I attended the school of the prophets.
Wow.
Under Lassie Shalia Ben Yehuda. Saints that came to Liberia passed through us. I was with almost all of the Nissim and Sarim.
Wow.
Yeah, we worked together. In fact, during the coup in Liberia, where the president of Liberia was killed and mutilated.
Wow.
On the third day, Princess Hiad and myself walked through the principal streets in Liberia, where we were stopped by some army personnel, and one of them jumped down from the vehicle and hit Princess Hiad with a gun on his shoulder.
Wow.
Yeah, and honestly, I was like trying to react, and then Princess Hiad was very wise enough, told me and said, no, Ezra, you don't do that. Leave him alone. I said, but he hit you with the gun. I said, no, just leave him alone. And we left. When we left, he just ran from us. And when he went across the street, we were watching. Another group of soldiers just caught him and killed him.
Wow.
Yeah, we saw that with our living eyes. And we are very happy that the kingdom of God is back in Liberia. And I can see many of the saints, most especially some of those saints that I live here with. I saw them again. I said, well, this is a new hope. And this is a very good beginning. And moreover, I saw saints that I never knew that they were born here in Liberia.
Wow.
And they were part and parcel of the kingdom of God. And I was happy yesterday when we had our program and they discussed with us, and I got to know that many saints were born here. But the war separated every one of us, and at least we are back again. To that, to Abba, I want to say shalom to all the saints who know me and who do not know me, and want to let them know that we are back in Liberia on coast, and they are welcome again to come back. This is where Abba left his footprint, and we have to follow it. To that, Robert.
What can I say? Hallelujah. First of all, I thank Yah that I was able to make this journey. You know, whatever trials and tribulations we had here, they were worth every bit of it, because this is something I definitely would not have wanted to miss. It was historic. It was a blessing to be able to see the original spot where the first Hebrews settled in Liberia in 1967, to be at the Beit Knesset that the brothers built to have the Shabbat Seder, and it's a miracle that the walls still standing there after all of these years, through all of the wars and all of the hardships here in Liberia. Those walls are still standing, and it was even more of a blessing to be able to find the house that Abba Gadol himself and Imam Tikva and Imam Malcolm lived in. That was truly a blessing. That was a real emotional moment. We also found one of the wells that the saints dug and used to live out of. To be able to visit, to come back to Bond County and visit the hospital where I was born, and in Galai, that was truly a blessing. The hospital was not, as a child, you picture certain things,
my imagination is always pictured, I don't know, maybe a 3-story building that, you know, maybe not as modern as I guess another hospital would be. But when I got there, you know, all 1-story little sections like this. It kind of remind me of, if you ever see one of them World War II movies, you know, when you have the nurse tent, kind of remind me of one of those. So, but nevertheless, it was a blessing to be there, to take pictures, to be with other people that was from that region. Something is priceless, literally, it's literally priceless. I will be back to Liberia, that's for sure, you know. The people here are beautiful, are endearing, they love us, they need us. Liberia needs us, and we cannot neglect Liberia. Hallelujah.
We are the last night here in the hotel, and it has been an experience of a lifetime. To be able to have traversed the time 50 years ago and to see the old places, the land sites, and to actually feel what the saints feel when they came. We were on the, up in Gaia, and they took us into the bush, and we saw the original walls that they had started for the temple, and they were still standing. And just to know that they have lasted that long, but then they tried to show us different spots around. We found a well. Wow. And then we found Abba's house, where Abba had built his place. And we saw where Nancy Gabriel's place was supposed to be. All these places were gone, but to hack out a living there and stay there with no running water, no electricity, and be hungry most of the time. And they stayed and persevered for Yah's sake. It just was too much for me. I was overwhelmed because I realized that these saints didn't come from poor comings. They had people had money and houses and stuff. It wasn't that they were poor or destitute. And they came and they stayed to purge themselves of what the Western world had put upon us to make us think that we need. We don't need everything that the Western world has given us, but we don't know because that's what we've been indoctrinated for. And to be able to see how they came out of it and their frame of mind of knowing, okay, we don't have to have this, we don't have to have that, we don't have to, and just live basically and depend on each other and make it work. And they're still here and they're still strong and they have a great bond of camaraderie with each other, and they've shared that with us. And this is one of the reasons why I know I had to come and see what our people did. I had to see the beginning. I had to see where Abba lived. I had to see where my Abba Gabriel lives.
So you leaving Liberia today?
Yes, we're leaving in a few hours. So.
Would you like to add anything to the Saints of Liberia leading where
Oh, listen, the Saints in Liberia have been absolutely tremendous. They're, a lot of times you may not understand the frame of mind of a people, but Liberians have been fighting for 50 years. They've been fighting a physical battle, dodging bullets and guns and machetes, fearing for their lives. But to be able to persevere and still be here and have such, they had such great memories of the Saints when they were here. And they were so glad, you all are back. We are waiting for you. We are this and we are that. It's an awesome feeling, awesome. So I'm planning to come back. I'm planning to come back. And I know that they had a place prepared for us in at Abba's compound, but we knew that was strictly for the sainthood, the pioneers. But I was trying to figure out how I could get in on that, if I could just experience some of that. So.
What you do with that container? The Nancy got record of me? I don't know.
No, they didn't. The car's still here. The car's still here. I don't think they left.
Bring it down. We gotta leave it. We can't take the pineapple.
You can't?
Yeah, no.
I'll keep it.
Yeah, but you're going.
I'm going shishi.
Oh, good. There's.
All right, tear it up.
There's the stalk of bananas you see down there. I can't take them. Here's the pineapple, I'm gonna leave with a pawpaw. Okay? I want to take everything with me, but I can't, unfortunately. But this is a Liberian pineapple, and I'm so happy. Where's Sigalon's boat dive? Oh, here you are. Oh, wow. Hey. Yeah. Oh, so beautiful. You look like your mommy. Oh, your mommy, she takes very good care of us. I want to let you know. And what is your name?
Oh, no.
Tracy?
No, I'm Ramiela.
Ramiela, okay. I am Doda Bashan. And I am so happy to see you. Well, great.
Oh, y'all take a picture, take a picture, take a picture. I'll throw your money, come on.
This is Shael Ema.
That's Shael Zima?
Yes, and a civilized daughter.
Wow.
I miss you, Ima. I wish to be with you, Ima.
Yes.
What's your Ima name?
Well, all you had to do is go back.
What's your Ima name?
I'm Ramiela.
Ramiela. It's beautiful.
They call me Tracy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just like this boy.
All right. Okay, first of all, giving all praises to Yahweh, Habeno, Hamashiach, Ben-Ami, Nasi HaShalom, Kol HaKatzedim. This is truly a great, great season for me and myself and the pioneers for us to return back to where we started from 50 years ago. 50 years ago, my first encounter was when you stepped off that plane at Roberts Airfield. It don't seem to me that the airfield has changed that much, but just that sensation of, you finally landed on African soil, which was very, very, it was very fulfilling to have landed there and to take that ride. Well, when we first came in '67, we went straight from the airport to the camp up at the Flemington's farm that was in Batala. So it was like a 2.5 or 3 hour ride, but the roads was dusty then. And the difference now, fast forward 50 years, the roads was paved, and it was such a beautiful scenery, the green. It was just so lovely as in compared to 50 years ago. But of course, everything has ascended from the 50 years ago. And the trip alone, just to return back to our roots, but the emotional part that I felt was going back up in the camp, where we was. That was a bit emotional for me. It was bearing, so many memories, and it was just, I got over emotional on that one. But on the whole, I can see and I could feel that we did fulfill the vision that Abba had, and our reason and our purpose for having came, for our reason for having been chosen, because you keep asking yourself, but why me? Why me? But Abba had a very, very particular, mission that had to be accomplished, and he had to pick a very, very particular people, a people that was determined, a people that had, faith, and the faith got a little weary sometime, but you had to have had endurance in order to have completed this journey. And another emotional thing was that the fact that I came here with so many members of my family, close members of my family, and of course going back up in that camp, it just brought back all the memories. But now we've completed our mission here, that is to let the Liberian people know that, hey, we have not left you, we have not deserted you, but we are back to fulfill the whole vision of what our purpose is, and that's to establish the kingdom of Yah. And this is my son, Meshullam. Meshullam was 6 years old when we came here. And when we asked, how do you know that Yah was on our side? Meshullam at the age of 6 used to go up in the bush. You see where we at? Well, you see the bush? Wow. And take his stick. He didn't have a guitar at that time. And take his stick and just sit up in there for hours playing his guitar. He would never go to school. He never liked school. But he was so protected, because imagine a 6-year-old up in that bush by himself. But that was Yah's protection, and I'm just so thankful. So here he is back. Oh yeah, November 5th was his birthday, so he was able to celebrate what year? 50? November the 5th, and you how old? 56, 57?
No, 57.
Oh, I thought you was 56. 57, yeah. Well, we celebrated his 57th birthday here on African soil in his home, Liberia. Yeah, okay, and peace and blessing, and told our Yah, told our saints, told our everybody, and especially up to this photographer. He is just awesome. Ben Alalil, really, really pretty. And this is our chosen first fruit, and they are truly Abigail, Boaz. They've stepped to the mission. Told our Robai.
Shael's mother?
I want one picture with you, okay? Yeah, come on, you get in the middle. We are going to bring up, where's my camera?
You want me to take 100 pictures of Abishan or one?
Yeah.
I get it.
Tamara.
Look, I've been talking to her. I'm not going for somewhere.
Mayonina, you told him?
Yeah, he told it.
All right.
Oh, the butterflies. Where you get the butterflies? Let me see the butterflies. Let me see the butterflies.
No, you might try to take it.
I'm not going to take it. I just want to see it.
That's hers. And then go with the rest of it.
This was $2.
She's going to solve this. Butterflies. You don't need.
One of them packages have a big garbage bag in it. She sent 2 garbage bags for you to carry the stuff in. That's the. You only received this one bag? Is it something?
You don't need.
How many packages you got in there?
For my grandbaby.
Yahkai, hallelujah, came in from the southern jurisdiction, Atlanta, Tallahassee, was invited by Nasi Ram, and I can tell you we've been having a superb time. We're so thankful to be here with the pioneers. In Liberia right now, we moved around to the camp at Gayo. It's just been awe-inspiring. See, now when I read Impregnable People, I get a whole nother understanding, because now I can visualize the bush. I can see the tents and the rain based on being at the camp. So it's been superb. The presentation last night, the Liberian officials, Brother Tubman, Winston Tubman was there, Nasi Ram, Nasi Gabriel's powerful presentation. It's just been awesome. All I can say is Yahkai, hallelujah. This is inspiring me to continue to serve at a higher and higher level. Yahkai.
This is Akot Nashama Eshet Akamasia from Tallahassee jurisdiction. In the United States, we are here in Liberia. It's been a wonderful, wonderful experience. The people have been very welcoming and very warm, very beautiful spirits. And I'm very, very happy that we were able to have this experience together, and looking forward to visiting the Saints here again. I'm done. Okay, the ride to the campsite, it was very exciting. It was very bumpy. A few times we were going uphill, then we started backing downhill. I'm like, whoa, okay. A roller coaster ride. When I went into the campsite, it was very emotional, very emotional. But the people were very welcoming, so I did appreciate that. They were very open to us. They shared their concerns with us. And so now we're looking forward to moving forward with them and able to assist in the things that they requested from us.
So y'all about to leave Liberia in how many hours?
Actually, we are going towards the beach over in Monrovia.
Since we got a couple extra days, since everything is finished, the programs are wonderful, we're going to go to Monrovia, stay for 2 more days, go to the beach, visit some museums. Then we'll fly back to Ghana on Yom Shishi. So we're going to enjoy Ghana and Cape Coast. We got the Cape Coast program coming up next.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
So we're very excited. It's been a wonderful journey.
Initially, when we first heard about the trip, you know, the sojourn, back to our roots, I really had no idea what to expect. I just knew I wanted to come. I just knew I wanted to be with the saints and be a part of this whole idea. The idea is just so big and so universal. And coming here, I had thought on the plane, wow, when you go visit people, you usually take them something, you know, you have to give them something. And I really didn't know what it was until we went to Gaia and we got a chance to see the saints there, the Liberian saints there, and they're still there, and they still remember the power and the influence of the kingdom, and they are so very hungry and willing to help, and hungry for our gifts, and then to get a chance to listen to Abba Gabriel last night, empowering the Liberian people, empowering them and giving them the power of the name and the power of truth itself was just awesome. It just was awesome. And I can't do anything larger than just thanking Yahweh for letting me be a part of this great manifestation of his work, and it's just beginning. It's just beginning. I can imagine what Ben-Ami HaMashiach felt when he turned around and he looked at his people and he could see that this is working. It's like Yahweh when he said, it's good. Selah.
So what did you say I missed earlier?
I'm not telling you.
Why not?
I'm not telling you because you got the microphone on, and we can't say everything in front of everybody. So.
Y'all have a safe flight. See y'all later.
We'll see you on the other side.
We on the ark.
Y'all flying back out right now, huh?
Look at the luggage in the back. Look.
More luggage than people.
Oh my God.
So all y'all leaving out right now?
Yeah. All right.
We all on the ark.